Hey guys, Funkymusic here with another video. Today is Lordaeron versus Icecrown, and will this argument ever end? I'm going to try to make this video brief, and I'm not going to go into every little minor detail. Well, we can debate other things, and I want you guys to do that in the comments. We can have a debate in the comments about it, but just a quick overview. First of all, let me say to those who do not think there is hate coming from Lordaeron players against Icecrown players, you are totally wrong. It is literally all over the forums and all over the unofficial discords every other day. I want to be clear so you all know where I'm coming from as well. I have played Icecrown my entire time on Warmane and Molten back when it was Ragnaros, and even a little bit here on Warmane when it was Ragnaros. I have also played on the 1x realms, which would have been Lordaeron, on Warmane and Molten before they when Molten was shut down. But my main realm has always been Icecrown / Ragnaros. I just want to make that very clear so that all of you who are watching this video know where I'm coming from. So you can say bias all you want, but just to let you know, I have played both, but Icecrown is my main realm. The first argument that Lordaeron players use is the fact that their encounters are always at 0 buff, and the bosses have more HP. This somehow translates into them having better players, and thus giving them a false feeling of superiority. Now, I agree that Lich King having more HP is harder. We on Icecrown have done 0 buff in multiple guilds, with a few guilds killing it even twice a week on 0 buff. And guys, just real quick, even if Lich King had that extra HP, it still would have been killed. Just want to throw that out there, but whatever. As far as I'm aware, as of making this video, there's only one guild currently on Lordaeron doing 0 buff, and only ever 2 who have done it on that realm. Before I move on to my second argument, I want to go on the record and say that I do think Lordaeron guilds currently doing 0 buff, and those who are even going 11 to 12 and getting up to Lich King and pulling Lich King more or less, and working on him, are still better than any current guild on Icecrown. It is these people who are the ones actually doing the raids that I just talked about on Lordaeron that have the right to talk some smack. Okay, I have no doubt that they would smash pretty much any Icecrown guild that currently in existence. Although I think Dignity might be able to give Lordaeron's second best guild a run for their money. But the argument I have against them would be that at its best, I would stack up the best Icecrown players versus the best Lord. And I'd have to go with the Icecrown players. Maybe a little bit of bias, but I think that the Icecrown players, the best of the best, would have easily taken on the Icecrown players, best of the best. And I want to get this in before, well, Funky, the tournament, listen. The tournament was bogus for 200 reasons that I explained in the weeks leading up to it. On the stream, on YouTube, on my Facebook. Yes, it would have been lost, and not to make excuses for that loss, but again, our old GM was the one leading the Lordaeron players. Udba by that time was a shell of its former self from the first tournament to the second one, which was the one that they went against Memories and lost. You can ask anybody in Udba at that time. They would more than likely tell you the same exact thing. In fact, I know they would. I would say that half our best players had either gone to Lordaeron, couldn't make it, or had quit the game by that point. However, I believe the other guild that was formed about 5 months later, named Ohana, which was what I can describe as best as being a super guild, was the best of all the best all in one place on Icecrown, would have given a much better showing in that tournament. They are also the only guild ever on Icecrown to do 0 buff twice in 1 week, with 0 buff being on farm for many, many weeks. I just want to point that out. The second argument that Lordaeron players use is that Icecrown is pay to win, and that because they play on a 1x server, it somehow makes them better. This argument is just laughable at best and disturbing at worst. XP rates do not make you a better or worse player. As I have said many times before, people who are new to the server forget that there was only Icecrown for years, well, Deathwing and Ragnaros as well, before Lordaeron was released. We only had one option when you came here to play on Warmane, which was Icecrown. So for those of you saying, you know, throwing out shade against some of the people I think throwing shade, forget that. Hey man, there was only one realm to choose at, and that's where people built their homes, they built their community, they met their friends there, and thus they've stayed there. Others do not have time to play 1x realms and spend the time needed to level up a tune. XP rates do not make you a better player. I want to say in closing that I do not think Icecrown has better players at the top end. I think Lord does. But once you move past the top guild in Lordaeron, I would take Icecrown's best guild versus Lordaeron's second best, as I've said before. And yes, Icecrown does have a lot of scrubs, but they also have a larger pool of quality players to choose from. Obviously a bigger realm, more scrubs, but there's also more talented players to choose from. This same argument also existed on Molten when Lordaeron was still around. So those of you who think this is something new, this has been going on for years. Look, guys, I play both realms and I enjoy both XP, but XP rates, excuse me, which is where the majority of these arguments come from, mean absolutely nothing. We can also sit here and debate who's the best guild all day, and it fluctuates as people quit and guilds die. I know that, and I hope other people who understand this argument and take a step back and look at it objectively know that as well. My point in all of this is that it really gets annoying hearing Lordaeron players, not all of you, I want to point that out as well, not everyone does this, but it really does get annoying listening to them berate and act like they are all high and mighty just because they play on a 1x realm. And guys, at the end of the day, we're both playing Wrath of the Lich King, we're playing a video game, we're having fun, and even I can go a little bit too far maybe with it and throw shade at some Lordaeron players, but it's just because sometimes when I see it all the time, it just gets it's too much to take. You have to stand up and say something when it's being constantly thrown at you. And for the most part, I will say this, Icecrown players, I would venture to say 99% of them don't ever talk about Lordaeron. It's not something that's ever brought up in the Discord channel. It's never something that's brought up on the forums. It's just something that Icecrown players just don't talk about. But Lordaeron players seem to be obsessed about it. And it's just getting old, guys. And I just want to point out some of the discrepancies that a lot of people seem to have, and point out how some of these arguments just don't make any sense, guys. They just really don't. But anyways, I hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your opinion in the comment section below, and we can have a debate down there about whatever you guys want to talk about. Who's the best, if this is all just stupid, whatever you guys think. But please subscribe, like the channel, give me your feedback. There's plenty of other links in the About section here on YouTube if you want to check those out. Discord, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Please do that, and thank you guys, and we'll catch you later on the stream.